Canada's losing ground fast. Real fast. Our track record of organizational leadership and behavior is actually pretty poor. Eaton's, Nortel, RIM. We ain't good at this. Why aren't we good? Why aren't we so good in this country? Go ahead.
We have a hard time recruiting good leaders.
Yeah, we don't have a good pipeline. We don't have a good pipeline. That's for sure. Yeah.
Do that have something to do with like our conservative government and just generates brings out conservative leaders?
Yeah, we're conservative by nature as a country. Why? What are the two big industries in this country? Natural resources and financial services. Take them out of the TSE. What do we have? What do we got? Not much. What have we been depending on? Natural resources. Stuff we can kind of get out of the ground. Name me one Canadian manufacturer of mining equipment. You can't because there isn't one. You would have thought that if we're going to be in the natural resource business, that we could have maybe decided to make the machines which we could then export to Colombia, Venezuela, and other places. We don't. Who makes them? It has traditionally been the Swedes. Who is it today? Chinese, Korean. You think that little game's going to turn around? Think we're going to win back that? The value-added component that could have been layered onto our economy has not been layered on. Why? Because we're lazy. Why are we lazy? Because things are pretty darn good here. They're pretty darn good. So the chronic discontent, we don't have a lot of that. I worry about that a great deal. Couple of things, yeah.
Just on that point,
Sure.
Earlier in this class, we have group presentations. My group talked about leaders not learning from success. I was just wondering if, in what you were just saying, if you think that is why Canada is falling behind, because we are kind of okay with the status quo of the fact that we have been successful, but that in turn actually plays behind the rest of the world.
Well, see, I put a different spin. I think you're right. Here's the spin I put on it. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of trying hard enough that we might fail. Hey? Look, you've read it, you've heard it, it's true. You learn more from your failures than your success. If you don't have a high failure rate, you're not going to have a high success rate. So we're a little conservative in that way in taking risk. And that's particularly true when it comes to the venture capital market and the ability to get funding for startup organizations in Canada. And we have a real problem here compared to the US or Germany or the Scandinavian countries. The couple of other points I'd like to just make. This is the last under the shock and awe chapter. Okay? Our competitors, the people we should be worried about, are not the United States, are not Japan. Who do you think our major competitors over the next 20 years are going to be? Because they ain't the ones they've been. They ain't the ones that you think they are. They are going to be countries like Croatia, Turkey, and Mexico. I'm going to leave India and China separate as a different category. But if you want to talk about real competition for Canada, it ever occurred to you that Croatia, Turkey, Mexico? Why? What do they have that we don't have? They have a growing, hungry middle class. 77 million people in Turkey. Spent a month there this summer. A kick-ass country doing unbelievable things, standing on the cusp of the Arab world and the European world as they have ever since time. They're desperate. They're discontent. They're hungry. Same in Croatia, same in Mexico. The growth of the middle class in Mexico each year contributes millions, 1.7 million new consumers inside their own borders just by expanding their own middle class. That gives that country an incredible advantage over us because we're not doing it that way. So I think as we look out, you have to think about different types of competitors.
Doug, what's the answer to that, though? Because at the end of the day, Canadian North American birth rates are going down. Our population is not going to increase from that route. So what can we do as a country in a room full of potential future business leaders to fight that?
Sure, two things. Let's talk brand for a minute. Let's talk national brand. Let's talk about the brand called Canada. In the rest of the world, do we have good brand equity, good brand value? Huge. Are we leveraging it? No. Notice Harper just starting to talk about it, okay? But we can and should exploit our national brand and our passport because no matter where you go, the Maple Leaf has untapped potential. We just haven't done anything with it. People love us. People want us. People dream about us. But we're here having a good time, drinking a couple of pops. Things are okay. No anarchy in the street unless you go to Western. So national brand, exploiting the national brand is one thing. Second point in answer to the question, we have a great untapped resource that we haven't used, and that's the diversity of our country. Imagine this country with its ethnic mix and makeup that for the most part, and it's not perfect, has been assimilated. What have we done to tap into the Punjabi community in Canada, okay, or the Indian community in Canada, or the Turkish community in Canada to do anything with it? We haven't done it. We have two assets that we're not doing anything with. Our brand, the flag, and our unbelievably rich diversity, and we're not doing anything with it. Those are incredible tools to use in a global outreach, weaning ourselves off the United States, which is heading the way of Greece, heading the way of Rome, heading the way of the Ottoman Empire. Just look at history for a minute. Okay? We should be hitching our wagon to someone else. And we've got the whole net. If I'm right about networks and all that, we got this incredible network. You can basically go to any Starbucks in Canada and there's 3 languages being talked, and people on Skype talking to folks back home. What have we done? Nobody's talking about it. It's lunacy. So I think that's